This was a very nice acknowledgement indeed of the many hours of development and hard work that the team has produced during the last many months. My name is Christian Merling. I am the Corporate Communications Director for Grontmij in Denmark. I would like to give you a bit of an overview regarding our company and the background for developing a new intranet. First and foremost, I would like to introduce the team shortly. We have two of the driving parties, Pernille and Pernille. Pernille in the red coat, she's in my department in communication and marketing, and Pernille in the stripes, she is in business process management. This also says that this is a joint venture between two departments in our company. This is not solely a communication project, it's not solely a business process project, it's a combination. And of course, along the way, there has been a lot of surveys and a lot of input from users. Also, hiding in the second last row, we have the two developers who has made a lot of the solutions possible in the final intranet. And thank you very much for your contribution also. Now, we're here, sorry, yes. I just want to give you a brief introduction of our business, the consulting engineering business. Actually, what is our bread and butter? Our bread and butter is knowledge and the ability to share knowledge between each other. That is quite essential for our business. Also, we need to do it in a most efficient way. Time is another important aspect of our company. Actually, the contact price for 1 minute of our employees, of one single employee for 1 minute spent not on productive time, is €1. Does that add up? Yes, of course, that does adding up. When you do it in Denmark, it will be approximately 600,000 kroners if we occupy our employees for 1 hour. If we scale it up on the group level for 9,000 employees, will be approximately 4 million kroners on bottom line. So of course, ensuring a very efficient and lean and mean intranet solution, a platform to share and exchange knowledge is pretty important for a business like ours. And what do we do? Actually, we have a key value proposition for our customers, and our customers are both public and private companies throughout the world. We do sustainability by design. And what is that actually? That is enabling our customers and our clients to make well-informed decisions whenever they shape the world we live in and the world we work in. So we do the consultancy, we do the management consultancy, we make out the plans, we make the calculations for the bridges, for the waters, and then other people are performing based on our consultancy. That is our business in a nutshell. We have a business lines is not that important today, I think, but we have 9 main markets. 9 main markets. We have offices in Denmark, Sweden, UK, Belgium, Netherlands, Poland, Germany, France, and Turkey. And then we have some business in China also, and in Vietnam. And we have some large projects in Bangladesh and India. 9,000 employees, as I told you, and of course, 70,000 projects solved per year. Big and small projects. Where are we? So I think, our ability to share knowledge is also reflected in the fact that we were one of the first companies, I believe, in Denmark to have an intranet. In July 1996, we introduced the first intranet in our company. And that, of course, do we have some more? Are there more? Oh, sorry. There we go. Yeah, very basic, but still sharing information at an early stage. And this leads to the solution that we present today shortly. We had a burning platform, actually, because the old intranet was on the CMS platform, and the license was expired, so we were unsupported, and we really had an urgent need to rethink how we do this. And in that rethinking, we thought, okay, we have a business project, which we call Client First. and that is talking about our external clients. How do we engage in our clients' reality? How do we ensure that we create value for our clients in everything we do? That was a business strategic project. We took that idea and say, hey, hello, why don't we make an intranet that fully support that effort, support the business effort? So that's why we had this vision of building a cockpit, more or less. If you sit at the intranet, you should have everything in arm's length. If you are a new employee arriving in the company, when you sit down and say, hey, I'm new in this company, where can I find information? You plug in, and then you just have everything within arm's length. That was a mindset or a principle in the layout and the design of the intranet. Now, I think some of you are more anxious to get into the finer detail, and that I will leave to my esteemed colleagues. Pernille, in the red coat, she will tell you about how we actually rolled out this project internally in the organization, and then Pernille in the stripes, she will follow up on the finer detail and feinschmeckerei of the intranet. So Pernille, in the red coat, please. Are you sounded? You are. Oops.
Well, my name is Pernille, and I'm part of Grontmij's Intranet team. I work in our communication and marketing department in Denmark, working primarily with web and online communication. And that, of course, also includes a lot of work on the intranet, such as news coverage. And actually, news coverage and communication have played a major role in the Intranet project. Throughout the development phase up to launch day or kick-off, we kept our organization regularly informed about how the process progressed. And of course, the top management was also presented to the Intranet several times during the development phase. In addition, we did a lot to engage and prepare our staff for the new Intranet up to launch day and the following weeks. For instance, we made a countdown banner that we placed on the front page of the old Intranet. We made a flyer that was distributed to all employees on the launch morning. We also created a brief presentation of the new Intranet, which was shown on the digital info boards on our coffee machines around our offices. And on the new Intranet, we had an Intranet quiz with questions about where to find specific content on the site, in order, of course, to guide the new users around the new Intranet so they could get to know it and become familiar with it. Last but not least, we developed a kick-off video featuring our communication manager and our business process manager, which the employees could access from the top of the front page of the new Intranet. And this short video we would like to show you now, just so you can get a small guided tour around our new Intranet before we move on with the presentation of the site. The video is in Danish, but we've added some English subtitles to make it more understandable.
Hej og velkommen. Vi har glædet os utrolig meget til at introducere dig for vores nye dynamiske intranet.
Her på intranettet får du adgang til en optimeret søgefunktion og en langt mere brugervenlig navigation. Og så har vi skåret indholdet helt ind til benet til glæde for dig mig og os alle sammen.
Og så får du en række nye funktionaliteter, som hjælper dig til at samarbejde på tværs, til at videndele og til at sætte vores kunder endnu mere i centrum.
På intranettet har vi også lavet en helt ny kommunikationsplatform for landledelsen. Den hedder Management View. Her kan du gennem små videoer, tweets fra ledelsen og artikler og indlæg følge med i, hvad landledelsen mener om alle de ting, der betyder noget for vores dagligdag og for vores videre udvikling af forretning.
Nyhedsformidling er selvfølgelig vigtig. Derfor kan du abonnere på Intranet-nyheder, og du kan få en nyhedsoversigt direkte i din e-mailboks. På den måde kan du hele tiden orientere dig om, hvad der rører sig hos Grontmij.
Øverst på siden finder du top 10 rullegardinet. Bag det er der de 10 hyppigst anvendte genveje. Du finder også 4 kampagnemoduler, som vi bruger fleksibelt hen over året til at vise de aktuelle ting, der er vigtige for dig, forretning og vores kunder her og nu.
Hvis du vil vide mere, kan du gå ind på sightseeing-siden, hvor du kan få en guided tur på vores intranet. Og så kan du selvfølgelig deltage i IntraNet-quizzen. Tag rigtig godt imod vores nye intranet. Brug det, byd ind og vær med.
Rigtig god fornøjelse.
My name is Pernille Petersen. I'm a knowledge specialist with Grontmij, working in the department of Business Process Management. I have the daily responsibility for the intranet, and I also work with various other internal knowledge systems. On this project with the new intranet, I had the role as the project manager. We would like to introduce you to some of the features on our new intranet that we are especially proud of. The first thing is the graphical design. To put it mildly, we are quite in love with the graphical design. It's simple but effectful. It has this pale blue color, which is cheerful, has an optimistic shade, but is still also very pleasant to look at. The background color is a bit darker on the outside on the screen and fades to almost white in the middle. We used a dark blue color for headlines and for icons, and a paler tone of that color for the borders on the web parts. We used the red color as a contrast throughout the page, but only sort of with moderation, you can say. All the colors were chosen from Grontmij's corporate design manual. There are also quite a lot of pictures throughout the site. They look very nice on this pale blue background, but even though they look nice and add an extra kick to the design, we've tried to use them modestly. All the pictures have been shot especially for the new intranet. And we think, give it an overall description, that our intranet leaves you with an impression of a serious and trustworthy site. And the design itself was done by the Danish design agency 1508. Another thing that we are proud of is this little gimmick that we have a top 10 pull-down menu. So on the front page, if you noticed, there was a sort of a red half circle. If you pull that down, you get a mega menu with shortcuts to some of the most popular pages on the internet. Some of them are really the most popular pages, and others are pages, links to pages that we think that we all need access to on a daily basis. In the right side, we have 4 theme pictures, which we can change throughout the year, thus giving access to current topics. For instance, at the moment we are going to do the yearly staff appraisals, so we have a link to the theme site about doing staff appraisals.
Yeah, well, the next thing we would like to highlight as a feature that we are proud of is the way in which we present and manage news on the intranet. And in Grontmij, we publish around 500 news articles a year on our intranet. And in order to facilitate an easy overview of the flows of news, we've designed the front page as a news portal, like you know them from electronic newspapers. And that is featuring highlight articles, our press feed, campaign fields, and some meaningful news categories in fixed locations on the front page. And this means, for example, that corporate news from the management team now have a more central location on the front page, while the more local or decentralized news, such as birthdays and anniversaries, have a less visible location on the front page. In addition to the news coverage, we've made a news alert or newsletter function that enables employees to subscribe to internet news and thereby get direct access to a well-structured news overview from their mailbox, just like an electronic newsletter where you can click further into the articles from the news mail. And in that way, it's always possible to keep up to date with what is going on in Grontmij. What you see here is not a standard SharePoint alert. This is a more advanced solution which our own SharePoint developers have created. So this is not a typical default SharePoint alert that some of you may know. Another feature that we are really proud of and that has actually proven to be one of the most visited pages on the site so far is the management portal that we call Management View. And Management View is a platform for communication between employees and the country management. And here the top managers provide the employees with the current status of our goals and strategy, mostly by way of video clips and small tweets, as you know them from, for instance, Facebook and Twitter. And these small tweets are also automatically shown on the front page of the intranet and also on the manager's personal profiles on the intranet. The management tweets have actually proven to be a really efficient way of communicating short and sometimes more informal messages from the managers to the organization. And of course, the purpose is to make the country management team more visible on the intranet. At the management portal, employees can also vote on which topics within our business that they want to know more about, either here on the intranet or for instance, at our large meetings with the management in the offices. Last but not least, Management View also provides the employees with an opportunity to visit their managers' profiles and read about anything from a manager's career to some small personal descriptions. The last thing that we want to emphasize as a feature we are proud of is actually directly related to our business strategy, namely to focus even closer on our clients and projects. And therefore, we've dedicated a whole area on the internet about this. And here, for example, employees can keep track of what projects we're working on. They can get a guided tour through our customer journey model with examples of best practice. They can become better at reaching our clients through our internal LinkedIn Academy, which is a self-study course. And they can watch client videos and make use of our client toolbox. And this whole area on the internet is something that we really want to keep on highlighting to the employees. Because this is not only an important business area of Grontmij, it's also an area on the internet that provides employees with tools that ensure a client-oriented approach in our daily work.
I will now take you through some of the more detailed features on, or detailed, the actual content on the intranet. The intranet is not a standalone application, but one in a portfolio of many internal knowledge systems and systems built in SharePoint. Some of these applications worth mentioning is the CRM system, our template database, which is called DocBox, our workflows, and different systems, for instance, for handling staff appraisals and work environment reporting. All these applications you see here, and many more, are all accessible from the internet. For the intranet, we have developed a number of customized web parts, and but apart from these web parts, the installation itself is pretty much standard SharePoint 2010. We have divided the content into 6 main areas. One is the news archive, but the other 5 main areas. The first one is our business, which is where we describe Grontmij as an organization, its history, its vision and mission, and its overall strategies and results. This is also where we have instructions to employees how to act according to Grontmij's corporate social responsibility, our code of conduct, and different internal policies. This is also where you will find links to our business line sites, department sites, and sites belonging to different groupings, such as the Works Council. As you have already seen, we have an area with clients and projects, but I think everything has been said here. One thing that we can highlight from the clients and projects section is also our project management system, which is quite extensive and supports the management of the projects and deals with various important aspects related to project work and operation of the company. And it is a very important part of the site. Also in clients and business, clients and projects, we have access to our different team sites, and this is just one example. But as you can see, there's no graphical design implemented on the team sites. They are just standard SharePoint. We have an area called How To, which is meant to be the place where you get all sorts of practical information on how to perform a specific task or action. The How To area is meant to be the place where you can get practical information, for instance, on how to perform a specific... No, I said that already. Yeah, you can get all sorts of information here, but as you can see, the navigation in this part of the intranet has sort of an app feel to it, and it emphasizes that the content is grouped according to themes and not so much according to the Grontmij organization as such. This is just an example of such a how-to page. This one explains what to do if you want to take a leave, but it could also be that you want to hire a new employee or do something very practical, such as ordering business cards or borrow a car for a visit to a client. If a tool is relevant for the task on the page, you will also find a link to the tool. even though we've had this content on our intranet almost from the start in 1996, this time we practically rewrote all the content to make it much, much more action-oriented and to the point. And in this process, we actually succeeded in reducing the content with about 25%. As you may already have noticed, we have contact persons on almost all pages, where you get both the email address and the telephone number. And on the bottom of each page, there's a footer where you can see when the content was last updated. You can contact the person responsible for the page, which is not always the same one as the one you want to contact about the content. And you get the opportunity to suggest different improvements, and you can even rate the page. By having these features on the pages, we think that we get sort of a much more user-friendly intranet. And the last or second last section we have is this tools section, which is on the next page. So even though you can access the tools from the how-to pages, then we also have this overview of the most used tools in Grontmij. As you can see, there's a title of the tool, a very short description of the tool. There's a link to a page where you can read more about the tool, or you can go directly to the tool. Because the thing is that mostly when you need those tools, you only need to read the instruction on how to use the tool the first time, or perhaps the first and the second time. So, but not the third and the rest of the times. The last area is one we call Grontmij for You. We have taken out all the content that is not related to work and placed it in this area. So here you can see, for instance, who has his or her birthday today. We have a flea market. There's something about how to be physically active in the offices, there are canteen menus, and links to different websites or intranet pages of the wine club, the art society, and so on and so on. Of course, it's possible to search for content on the intranet. Our search engine is just standard SharePoint search. And we have divided the search into two different search fields, so you can search for content or you can search for people. In the content search, you can actually access both intranet content but also project documentation on our network drives. So that literally means that you can access all documentation in Grontmij from this search engine. In the people search, you can search for, of course, all the facts like names, department, telephone numbers, email addresses, job titles, and so on. But you can also search what people have entered in the fields about me, skills, and ask me about. As you can see, the first page, the overview of the search result has been styled a little bit, but if you click further into the search result, you get this standard SharePoint view of search results. And even though it's standard, then we know from the employees that they really love this this way of showing the organization. So that is one thing that SharePoint has done very well out of the box. All the data for the search engine, for the people search, come from our AD and from our ERP system. We might now have given you an impression of a site that is just running smoothly, but we, of course, had some problems along when we implemented the site. Some of the things we learned was that things take time. What takes time is getting editors throughout the organization to deliver content on time. It's also doing all the user testing and the subsequent changes. And also in the last phase, doing the quality assurance of the content. What was also a challenge to most of us on the Intranet team is that the Intranet is not our only assignment, so we also had to follow other deadlines along the way. Another thing we also learned in the project is that it's important to have an agreement with the IT department on, for instance, installation of servers, their technical tests, the connections to the AD, and lots of other things. Despite this, as we have already mentioned, this Intranet project has been a very good collaboration project for the internal support departments in Grontmij. We own most of the content except the content on the team sites. But we have also had great fun along the way, and we feel that the Intranet has been well received by the users. For instance, we have about 900 unique visitors per day, which is quite good when you know, if I tell you that we have 1,100 employees in Denmark, and lots of them are, of course, out on building sites, out with clients every day, and therefore not in the office. And also, we get quite a lot of feedback and suggestions for new content and functionality, which makes the work with the Intranet very rewarding for the Intranet team.
Thank you, Pernille. I just want to wrap up today's session. I hope you got a good impression of our Intranet and our efforts. Once again, on behalf of Grontmij, on behalf of my team, thank you very much for the award. This award actually confirms that our basic vision and the basic ideas when we started up this project, they are on the right track. Now we have started the journey, because this journey is not finalized. It is never finalized. We will use the next months and years to further refine and tune in all the details of the internet to make it and keep making it one of the best in Denmark, or maybe even the world. Two of the projects, before I grow over my head, two of the projects that we have in pipeline is, of course, making this a truly mobile site also. And then we have quite a large saying in the group communications department also, with many projects. And I think that this prize will support our efforts to make the group as a whole implement the Danish way of doing this, instead of taking a whole new approach to the solution on the group level. With these words, I just want to say thank you and hope to see you again soon.
Yes, did you have mobile intranet access or not? I'm thinking specifically in terms of the news email that you get, where you go when you click on that if you use your smartphone.
Well, we have, people have access to from their mobiles, but the design is not responsive.
And Nina from Kovi.
Hi. It looked great. I think especially the part with the customers and the management part. Is it designed for all 9,000 employees or for 1,100 employees? I wasn't sure about the language. Thanks.
We made it. Should I use this one? We had an international solution in our mind when we set up with this project, because we actually made the first pilot in the group of a larger, new, relaunched intranet. That's why all the menus are in English, as you see. So when we go all in soon, I hope, maybe within the next month, 12 months or something like that, when we go all in, the transition would be much easier because we already made the basic template in English. So it's only a matter of making content in the different versions of language. And I think despite all good intentions of making a unified language within our company, I think still we need to have German and we need to have French. And that is based on my experience also in other international companies. You need to have maybe some information in the local language version still. And then maybe you can have some group and corporate communications in English. Actually, we are in the process of making a much more uniform Grontmij throughout the group. So we have a people strategy, a OPEX strategy for operational excellence, and a client-first approach strategy. So actually, we are on our way to make a unified and more consistent company, also based on systems, incentive programs, and so on and so forth.
Any other questions? Just remember the evaluation form if you want to win one of the books signed by Martin White. So, Helle, Dupont.
It looks really great, your intranet. Congratulations. How do you ensure that the data is kept updated? For example, your manager's profile.
Almost a minute basis, because we discovered our ambition of having a very dynamic and to the minute updated management platform. That was quite a challenge with a very busy management. So actually I dedicated one employee totally to make sure that it's always updated. So that will never be unupdated, because they have actually tweets on the minutes sometimes. So that is pretty updated. To the finer details of the updates, I think one of my colleagues will have to answer that. Pernille, maybe? Yes. In the stripes?
For the data in the people pick or the telephone directory, because the data comes from only two systems. So it's the Oracle, which is the ERP in Grontmij, which provides things like names and that basic information about people, and the rest comes from the AD. So because we also have a workflow supporting the hire and also when people leave the company, everybody has to or signs or fills out these workflow forms telling that this person has now moved room, got a new telephone number, new manager, and so on and so forth. So because the content is then updated and HR and IT are very committed to maintaining the data. So I've heard from other companies over the years that they have 2, 3, 4 different telephone directories and different sources for updating the directories. But we have always been very fortunate only to have one directory and only one source of data.
So, any other questions? One. Oh, good. State your name and company.
Yes, Marianne Miller from UC. What about user-generated content? What is your thoughts on that? And does people or employees post something valuable for you?
Shall I comment on that? We have different team sites, which is really one of the only places where people actually, the employees post content themselves. On the design part of the intranet, you can say that we have some, especially on the management view, it's possible to ask questions and participate in different polls with the management, what we want to hear from them next time, for instance. But on the user-generated content is on the team sites, and the team sites are especially sites where people discuss topics that is relevant to their job. It could be there's a network about building constructions. There's a network on information modeling, things like that. Building installations, contaminated soil, lots of different sites. And we don't manage them particularly tight. It's very much up to people's own responsibilities. And when we started out with the team sites, you had to apply to get a team site, which meant that you needed an approval from the corporate IT board. And along with that, you had to have your managers accept that you could. It sounds very heavy, and but if you could get your managers accept, you would be more committed to maintaining your site, which is also why we believe that most of the content is still relevant, updated, alive, and so on. So we haven't, at least not at this time, so many problems with content that is outdated and never touched, and we don't know who's responsible for it. But of course, it limits the number of team sites, but we are hoping to expand the team site angle on the intranet, and we must find ways to keep them updated along.
Yeah, my name is Rikke. I will ask you about the issue between the team site versus the information that you have under the tools, or what you call the how-tos, because how do you differ what is actually in the team sites, as you said, is something that people actually contributing with, and the how-tos on the do you have any guidelines for what to put where?
Yes, you can say we have a guideline to that. So what we put into the how-to area is content that is relevant for the whole organization. I'm not very interested in building constructions, so there's no how to design the best building constructions in the how-to area. So the how-to area is very much what is there for everybody. So there's something about hiring staff, for instance, or all the things that you would normally have in your staff handbook is in there. There's a lot of things about health and security. There's themes about traveling because, as we said, we work all over the globe, and of course traveling rules and things like that is very essential to us. So in the how-to area, only stuff that is relevant throughout the organization, and the rest lives on the team sites.
Good. One last question. Nobody dares. Remember the evaluation form? Anybody needs one? Yanni is over there. She has got one. So we give them another hand then? Congratulations.